We'll start our first,
Yeah, we can start. Yeah.
we'll start our first technical session. Mm, that first technical session will be taken by the our honorable Professor Kishnaraj sir. He is currently working as a professor and head of the department in the Department of Electronics Engineering, HBTO Kanpur. He is the convener of this seminar. He also worked at BIT Chhasi as a lecturer, senior lecturer, and reader. His research interests mainly digital signal processing. He has published more than 50 papers in the Journal of Repute and International Conferences. He had delivered lectures as an expert speaker in more than 50 programs like FDP, STP, and STTPs. He is also a fellow of IETE, life member of IE, and member of IEEE. Now I request Professor Krishna sir for start his first first technical session of this seminar. Professor Krishna sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sumanji. Thanks for the nice introduction and thanks for inviting for this session. Uh, I would like to welcome all audience who are present here to hear me. Now we will discuss here the concept of the design of the VLSI implementable system, and that can be converted in the form of the implementation. Here we are just going to describe the algorithms, how the algorithms are designed, and then how those algorithms will be enhanced, and how that can be converted in the form of the VLSI implementable. So the first step of this lecture is to describe the concept of the designing using the some here the rules regulations, and if we have designed any algorithm, then how that designed algorithm will be enhanced using the here the different types of the algorithm at the architecture level, or how this can be enhanced using the different concept of the number system, or how this algorithm performance can be enhanced using the here the enhancement at the device level here. So we are just going to describe here the concepts, and as we are aware about the electronics engineering, electronics the basic motto of the electronics engineering is the see the invisible and do the impossible. Here we can say here the electronics engineering has the four C's. Having the four C's, that is the four main stream of the electronics engineering. First is the component. First C stands for the component, and second C for the here the control here the system engineering, or we can say circuits, and the third C is for the purpose of the communication, and the fourth C is related to the computation here. Now, in each field of the electronics engineering, uh, what we basically do, it is a branch of engineering in which we utilizes the rules, regulations given by the mathematicians and the scientists, either to maintain the system of any one of these field or a combination of these fields, or to design the new system for the welfare of the society here. Now, for the purpose of the designing, uh, we have to compare the performance of the system which is existing, or if we are interested in order to design a new system, then how we will compare the performance of this new system with the already validated and existing system. For that purpose, we generally use the three parameters. One is the what is the speed of the algorithm, or what will be the speed of that particular circuit or the system, and the second one is the area related to the here the silicon wafer, because whatever is our field, first of all we have to develop the algorithm, then that developed algorithm will be enhanced as per our requirement, and again it will converted into the VLSI implementable form, and finally we have to here the integrate the concept either using the software or using the hardware. Finally it has to be integrated on the silicon wafer so that it can be utilized for the required purposes here. So during the time of the performance analysis, we have generally be used the three parameters. One is the speed, that is the related to the delay of the execution or the execution time here. that is dependent upon the critical path length. And the second one is the area, area either on the silicon wafer or area related to the memory space here. What is the memory space required? And the second one is the here what is the power consumption in order to execute that algorithm or in order to execute the performance with the help of that here the circuit or the system. And the third is the here the is the what is the this power consumption and the area and the delay, that is the speed. So these are the three parameters which are required in order to analyze the performance of the system. But if we are interested for the digital processing, that is the system, if we are designing a system that has to process the information digitally, then naturally there is a conversion of the analog form, analog signal or analog information into the digital. So approximation will take place, and that approximated signal or the information will be processed, and again it will be converted to the analog or the to compatible for the real world. So naturally there will be a more concept, that is the finite word length effect, because for that purpose we have to use a finite precision, that is finite word length. And due to that finite precision or the finite word length, what will happen, the quantization error will take place, here the approximation error will take place. And how this error will affect the processing, that is what will be the effect of the finite word length, that will be also here the counted during that, or in that will be also considered during the evaluation of the performance of any system. So as we have described that there are the four C's related to the electronics, again there are the four parameters that will be considered in order to analyze the performance of the system. So first step is the requirement, and requirements are always in ideal form, and from that requirements we will develop the algorithm, that is the algorithm or the concept. And here we have to describe the algorithm, that is if we are interested that it is more important to specify the functionality of the system or the algorithm than the order and the structure of the internal operations, then it is described using the mathematical formulation, or the mathematical modeling is used for this purpose, and it is done at the higher level here. But for the purpose of the here the architectural description, for the architectural design, these mathematical formulation need to be converted to here the behavioral description languages, using the behavioral description languages, or using the graphical representation. Here if we are using the behavioral description languages, then these languages can be categorized into the three category, and these are named as the prescriptive languages, descriptive languages, and the applicative languages. Prescriptive language is the one type of the language explicitly specify the order of the assignment statements. And the example of this type of the language is like the C, etc. here. And descriptive languages present the structure of the algorithm. For example, if we are using here the DSP algorithm, then this will describe the structure of the DSP algorithm or the system. And for example, we can consider here the HDL or the VHDL or Verilog as a language that describes that is under the category of the descriptive languages here. The third one is the applicative language. It presents a set of equations that are satisfied by the variables in the algorithm rather than a sequence of actions. For example, Silage language is used in the cathedral synthesis tool, or MATLAB may be also considered as the applicative language. Now, for the graphical representation, we can use the different types of the graphics. And why we use the graphical representation? Because the graphical representations are efficient for investigating and analyzing data flow properties of the DSP algorithms, and for exploiting inherent parallelism among different subtasks. So due to the parallelism concept, the speed will be enhanced, and the power consumption will be also affected here. And the graphical representations can be used to map the DSP algorithm to hardware implementation. And the third point is that is the conclusion of this one is that these representation can bridge the gap between algorithmic description and the structural implementation, because there is a large gap between the designing of the algorithm and the implementation. So in order to fulfill the gap between the algorithmic description and the structural implementation, a graphical representation is used here. And for the purpose of the graphical representation, we can use the block diagram that describes the here the we can say architecture, hardware architecture. Signal flow graph gives the information about the flow of the signal. Data flow graph describes one iteration of any algorithm, and the fourth one is the dependence graph that describes the complete algorithm here. So here we can say if we are interested to here the design the system at the function level, or we are interested for the functional modeling, then we can use the mathematical model. Or if we are interested for the architectural design, then either we can use the behavioral descriptional language, or we can use the graphical representation. And for the behavioral description languages, we can use any one type of the language or a combination of the these here the prescriptive, descriptive, or the applicative languages. And the graphical, for the purpose of the graphical representation, we can use any one type of the representation or a combination of these, that is the block diagram, signal flow graph, or data flow graph, and the dependence graph here. Now here we are just going to cover a case study. For example, say we are interested in order to design a system, then first of all we will define the system. What is the system? What will be the nature of the system, whether that one is the open loop system or the closed loop system. Then we will describe what the effective methodology can be adopted in order to enhance the performance of the system here. So here, and effectiveness is again a function of the human skill, software, and the hardware. So here we have to define the system, then we have to introduce the effectiveness of that system. So after the definition of the system, we will and this is the concept of the developing and the FSCA algorithm. First the requirement will be given, and from the given requirement we will define our problem or the system, and then we will incorporate the concept of the effectiveness, and then these requirements has to be converted into the specification using the practical approaches or the different types of the algorithm that converts the requirement or the ideal concept into the specification. That, and this is done in order to determine the parameters which has to be analyzed here. And now for the purpose of the here the after conversion, now we have to decide whether we are interested for the static system or the dynamic system. If we are interested for the static system means there will be no memory, and mathematically that can be represented only with the help of the polynomial or the set of the polynomials. That may be a very simple equation, or that may be a very complex equation, linear or the non-linear, but it has no memory. And the dynamic, that is that there is memory. Naturally the memory devices means it has a capability to contribute some additional here the features, and we will move towards the dynamic memory. And if we consider the dynamic system, and if we consider here the dynamic system, then again the dynamic system may be divided into the two type of the system, whether we are interested for the analog dynamic system or the digital or the discrete dynamic system. And if we are interested for the analog dynamic system, then that system will be described with the help of the differential equation. And if we are interested for the digital dynamic system, then that will be described with the help of the difference equations. Now it is the this second step. The first step is the definition, that is related to the developing an efficient algorithm, and the second step is the determination of the parameters, and the third is the decision here. After decision, we will get here the mathematical model. That is, if the digital, then that is the difference equation. Otherwise, there will be the differential equation here. Now, if whatever is the model, that is known as the derivation or the model here. And now, if we have derived the mathematical model on the basis of the definition and parameters and the decision, that is the type of the system, then we have to analyze the coefficients A case and B case. That is, what is the nature of the A case and B case. If the A case and B case are constant, that is, they are not changing their values with respect to time, then they will be named as the LTI, or the deterministic equations, or the deterministic system, or the algorithm. And if they are changing their values, that is, the AKs and VKs are changing their values with respect to time, then that will be known as the adaptive or the stochastic system. And what is the meaning of the AKs and VKs? AKs and VKs will describe the component of the system, and if the component of the system has capability to change their value, it means here the we can change the performance of the system, or the system's performance will be changed as per the requirement, and it is named as the adaptive or the stochastic model or the system. And for example, if we are interested to analyze the echo or the noise that is random in nature, then we have to select the components which can change their values as per our need or the requirement. Naturally, during the time of the mathematical model, we have to here the consider that this is the adaptive or the stochastic model for that purpose. Now, if we consider here the response type, these whatever we have described, these equations are in time domain, whether they are in continuous time domain or discrete time domain, but they are described in time domain. Now, for the complete analysis, they have to be transformed into the frequency domain also. And if we are interested in order to see the performance of the system, that is what will be the response of the system when it will be disturbed by any worst case signal, for example, say the impulse, then or the pulse, then what will be the response? And that response depends upon the frequency also. And it has the two sections. One is the how the amplitude changes with respect to frequency, and the second one is the how the phase changes with respect to frequency. So, and in total, it is known as the frequency response of the system. And on the basis of the frequency response, we can describe the system either the low pass, high pass, band reject, or band stop filter here. And again, if we see this equation here, then we will find this equation or this equation, it has the two sections. One that depends only upon the present input, and the second that depends upon the previous output also here. If it depends upon the previous output also here, it means it has a feedback. And if the system has a feedback, and then that one is known as the autoregressive model. And if the system has no feedback, that will be named as the moving average model. And if this type of the system is disturbed or excited by any here the worst case signal, for example, say impulse considered as a input here, or impulse is subjected to this system here, then in the case of the system when there is no response, we will get here the settled response after a certain duration. That is, after disturbances, we will get here the some response or the settled response after certain duration or the time. But in another case, if there is any feedback, it means whatever is the response, that will be automatically here the regressed, and we will never get the here the settled response, or we can say infinite duration is required. So first one is also known as the FIR, and the second one is also known as the IIR system. Now, whatever is the system or the model here, it has to be analyzed. And for the purpose of the analysis, as we have discussed, that the time domain mathematical model has to be converted into the frequency domain model. And as we know, if we have the difference equation, then for that purpose, we use the Laplace transform in order to convert the time domain information into the frequency domain information. And if that is a difference equation, then we have to use the Z transformation. That is, for the difference equation or the digital system, we use the Z transform, and for the analog or the differential equation, we use the Laplace transformation. Now, in the case of the Laplace transformation, it becomes a function of the S. S is a complex frequency. And in the case of the difference equation, when we apply here the Z transformation, and that is for the digital or the discrete system, then it becomes a function of the Z. Now, if we replace the S by j omega, or Z is equal to e to power j omega, then again, if this function becomes a function of the j omega. having the two section. One is the amplitude and the second one is the phase. Now amplitude again becomes a function of the omega and phase becomes a function of the another type of the omega. So as we have described here, that in response we will get the two responses. One is the amplitude, how the amplitude is changing with respect to frequency, and the second is how phase is changing with respect to frequency here. Now in total we call it the frequency response. Now and here if we have converted here, we have applied here the this type of the transformation by which we are getting the frequency response, then it is known as the Fourier transformation. That is the, if s is replaced by the j omega and z is replaced by e to power j omega, then it becomes the Fourier transformation of the signal or the model here. Now, if Fourier transformation is applied to the discrete time signals or discrete time processing, now the response will be the discrete time Fourier transformation. But again, discrete time Fourier transformation becomes a function of the omega, that is a continuous function. And for the purpose of the discrete processing, again there is a requirement of the sampling or the discretization. So when the discretization of the DTFT or the discrete time Fourier transformation takes place, then it is named as the DFT. And in the DFT, if we see, then we will find it has the two special properties. One is the symmetricity and the second one is the periodicity. And due to the symmetricity and periodicity, we can reduce the number of the computations because the same types of the multiplication, additions are taking place for the different another coefficients which are symmetrical or which are periodical. So if we here the reduce the number of the computations, that is the addition and the multiplication, it means the processing is fast. So this algorithm is named as the fast Fourier transformation. But whatever is the algorithm here we are using for the purpose of the analysis, Laplace transform, jet transformation, Fourier transformation, discrete time Fourier transformation, DFT or the FFT, these are only suitable for the non-stationary signal. Sorry, not these are suitable only for the stationary signal. They are not suitable for the non-stationary signal. For example, speech is a non-stationary signal, and it these type of the analysis or the transformations are not suitable for this one, because in the here the non-stationary signal we have to here the cover both the period both the here the time domain as well as frequency domain simultaneously. But in either type of the transformation which we have described here, we can cover either the time domain or the frequency domain at a time, because they are inversely proportional to each other. So for that purpose, the another type of the approaches that are used are the STFT, short time Fourier transformation, continuous wavelet transformation, or discrete wavelet transformation. Now after the analysis here, that is what is the performance of the system, we have to select the design criteria, that is the approximation. And how the performance are analyzed. For the for the analysis of the performance, we have to use the energy, that is power consumption, what is the amount of the power consumption, what is the area required either in silicon wafer on silicon wafer or the memory space here, and the what is the speed or the delay, or what is the finite word length effect. For example, if we consider a diamond, then the diamond's value is decided on the basis of the four C's, that is the carat, cut, color, and the clarity. Similarly, we can describe here the value or the performance of any system on the basis of these four parameters, that is the energy, area, speed, delay, and finite word length effect here. Now after the analysis, we have to design the system, and for that purpose we will select the design criteria. And this design criteria is nothing but a type of the approximation having the different available algorithms, or we can also design our own algorithm in order to design the system. Then whatever is the here the algorithm, we have to designing this, we have to compute the coefficients here. And for the purpose of the enhancement of the designed algorithm, we have to again utilize here the pipelining, parallel processing, folding and unfolding. There are so many types of the algorithms that can be used to enhance the performance of the algorithm. Now if we see, then we can say whatever we are discussing here, we are saying that the information from one domain has been transformed to the another domain, but it is not true here, because during the time of the transformation or during to analog to digital processing, in the analog, how many number of the bits are required? Approximately are the exactly infinite number of the bits are required in order to convert the complete information from one domain to another domain, but it is not practically possible. So in order to make it feasible, there is a need of the finite word length effect, finite word length. And due to this finite word length, there will be a quantization error, and we have to here the analyze the finite word length effect here. Now, how the finite word length will take place? For that purpose, we have to use the quantization, and then we have to analyze whether the quantized algorithm is suitable, whether the quantized algorithm's output is in the permissible range or not. And again, for the purpose of the this quantization, designing, and analysis, we can use the here the either the here the different type of the languages, that is the prescriptive, descriptive, or the applicative languages, or we can use here the different type of the graphical representation, that is the block diagram representation, signal flow graph, data flow graph, and dependence graph here. And now after this one, the next step is the implementation. And before the implementation, we can see what we have done here. First of all, in the first step, we have to understand the application problem here. Then in the second step, we have to design the algorithm according to our requirement. And then the designed algorithm has to be converted into the VLSI implementable form of the algorithm here. And efficiency has to be incorporated here as per the requirement. And then the implementation will be done either using the hardware approach or the software approach. For example, say if we have designed an algorithm and that has to be downloaded on a given hardware in order to test the performance of the designed algorithm. Say we are using here the Code Composer Studio as a here the interface between the hardware, that is the target, and between the designed algorithm. Then it has the different sections like the compiler, assembler, linker, loader here, and if whatever is the algorithm, that will be written in the C file, or the using the C code, or whatever is the code written, that will be converted into the .c file. And then .c file will be considered by the compiler. Its output will be the .sm file, and the assembler's output will be .obj, and then linkers output will be the .out or the .bin file that can be used for the simulation, emulation, and the hardware target purposes here. Now, here suppose we are just taking the example. There may be the different level of the audience. You just that there may be the some students who maybe the from first year, second year, third year, and there may be some researchers, PG students. There are also the some respectable faculty members who are well known, who are well aware with the all the concepts of the designing and implementation. So we are just trying to discuss here the concepts of the design and implementation of the VLSI system. And we are trying to discuss this concept in the field of the DSP. Now, suppose in the DSP, that is the digital signal processing, we are interested in order to design a filter. So if we design a filter, it means we will get a mathematical model or we will get the algorithm. For example, say this filter has to be designed. We are not going in detail the methods or the approximations which we have described here. Say we are just coming to the point here, that here we have described that for the purpose of the designing, we have to use the approximation, that is the different criteria here, the design criteria. Now suppose we have selected any one criteria in order to design this filter here, and now say this is the here the low pass FIR filter, and we are using a method that is known as the window method. Now suppose we are used this one and we have written the MATLAB code for this one, and we have designed the method low pass filter having the windows. So there are the sideband here the ripples. Now if we see the ideal response of any low pass filter, then it has the smooth curve in the pass band as well as in the stop band, and there is a transition band width is 0 in the ideal filter, but it is not practical or it is not feasible in order to design any filter. So we have to consider the ripples either in the pass band or ripples in the stop band, and there may be a transition band gap between the pass band and the stop band. So now depending upon the different type of the characteristics, the different names or the approximation methods are developed here for the purpose of the designing of the algorithm. For example, there are the Butterworth approximation, Chebyshev 1, Chebyshev 2, and but here the elliptic or the cover algorithm. So these are the different approximation method. Now using the here the different approximation, we can get here the different type of the here the design filter. So if this is the design filter, then we have to test the performance of this design filter by applying some signal here. We have given the input to this signal, and then we will find whether the signal is filtered as per the requirement or not. Now, here the filtering of the data is described in this one, and say, uh, and the second method, one is the we can use the code here, and the second, there are the MATLAB tool which can be used in order to design a filter. For example, that there is a FDA tool, filter design and analysis tool. Filter design, in order to utilize the filter design and analysis tool, you have to just write the FDA tool and just press the enter button if you are using the MATLAB. Then and when you will press the enter button after typing the FDA tool, a dialog box will be opened, and now in the dialog box we have to select these parameters, that is what should be the response type, low pass, high pass. If the low pass, then what is the method has to be used. Then here the design method, Butterworth, are the IR. In the IR case, there are the different number of the approximation method, FIR, another set of the approximation. And then we have to define the filter order, whether we are interested for the a particular order or we are interested to design a filter for the minimum order. And then options are given for the windows, which window has to be selected. And we can see the here the amplitude and phase response of the selected window. Then frequency specification means what is the pass bandage frequency, what is the stop bandage frequency, or what are the values of the ripples in the pass band, what are the values of the ripples in the stop band. Or we can also select what will be the stop band edge frequency and the cutoff frequency here. So after the selection of these parameters, we have to select this one, that is the design filter. And when we click on the design filter, the filter will be designed, and we can analyze the different performances of this design filter by using the analysis, having the amplitude response, phase response, amplitude and phase both, pole zero plot, and here the what will be the equation numerator and denominator. And here we can analyze other related parameters by using the analysis here. Now this can be also tested by applying here the signal. Now suppose we have designed the signal. This is the concept that describes a gap between the ideal filter and the practical filter here. Now we are coming to the point that if we have designed the filter, now you can see here, it will be better to discuss this one also here. See here, if we are interested in order to design a low pass filter, then ideally this is a low pass filter here, which we generally use to describe it in theoretical concept. But we have to incorporate the ripples in the pass band, ripples in the stop band, and ideally the transition band is 0 here, but there should be a gap, transition width, in order to design the filter. So now if we see, then we'll find the 3 parameters we have incorporated by applying the practical approaches. One is the ripples in the pass band, ripples in the stop band, and the transition width here. Now after this one, we can say there are the 3 points which has to be considered, are the 3 parameters that can be considered as the 3 angles of a triangle. One is the filter order, what should be the filter order, what should be transition width, and what should be the peak, pass band, and stop band ripples. If we are interested to here the modify any one parameter, then accordingly other 2 parameters will be modified here. So if we are introducing any type of the improvement in a particular type of the parameter, then naturally the other related parameters will be affected by that modification. So we will get here some the advantage or some achievement of the system on the basis of the compromise with other parameters here. Now, suppose we have designed any algorithm. Now, just coming to the concept of the today's lecture. Suppose using any method, whatever may be the method, there are so many methods which we are just representing here, that using any method we can design the filter. Uh, and suppose we have designed the filter, and then naturally an algorithm will be developed here, and we can design using that so many method, and we can compare them. For example, here we have compared the performances of the matched passband, stop band, matched passband, and matched stop band. There are so many methods which we have used here, and the final concept is that it has to be downloaded on the given target here. Suppose the target is given as the TMS 320C6713 DSP processor, that is the 225 megahertz. So in order to interact with the real world, the another here the interfaces are under another devices are used here in order to interact with the real world. So here in order to interact with the real world, can use the three mode of the communication of the digital signal processor to the real world. One is the analog to analog input and analog output. For this one, the analog input is considered as an input, and after processing, the whatever is the digital output, that will be converted again into the analog form. So this is the analog mode of the communication. And the second one is the here the digital mode of the having the 4 DIP switches and the 4 LED switches, and that the digital input and the digital output here. And here we can also use the data and code in order to interact with the real world. Now see, this is the corresponding block diagram for this physical layout. That is, this is the DSP processor. And suppose we are interested in order to interact with the real world in the form of the processing the speech, then there should be a mic in. Then for the purpose of the output, there may be the headphone output and the line in, line output. And for the purpose of the coding and decoding, there is a AIC 2-3 codec, and there may be another channel here, and whatever are the signal, they are multiplexed, and the multiplexing that is used is known as the MCBSP, or the multiple channel buffer serial port. Multiplexed signal will be considered as the input to the DSP, and after processing, this will be communicated to the here the codec and to the peripheral expansion here. Now, external memory interface, through external memory interface, this DSP processor is connected to CPLD, flash, SDRAM, and there is also provision of the memory expansion. And HPI port, and the HPI is used to host port interface here. And the another multiplexing is used through the JTAG. One is the embedded JTAG, and the second one is the external JTAG. And embedded JTAG has a port, that is a USB port, and this is the external JTAG. And again, the multiplexing takes place here through the JTAG, that is the Joint Text Action Group, and it is known as the MCASP, multiple channel audio serial port. And for the purpose of the here the voltage, there is a voltage regulator for the purpose of the DC voltage for biasing and the processing here. And there is a power port, and for the digital input and the digital output, the LED and DIP switches are used here. So this is the block diagram that describes this physical layout, and the motive of this one is to interact with the digital signal processor, either the analog mode or the digital mode, or through the data and code here. Now, whatever is the input here, it is first analog to digital conversion takes place. So, and in order to avoid the here the aliasing effect, there is an anti-aliasing filter before the ADC. And similarly, in order to get the smooth output, the reconstruction filter is used after the DAC. Now, for the purpose of the development of the code, we have to use that these steps. That is the first design, that is the conceptual planning related to the algorithm, then coding and building, and then debugging, and finally after the analysis. And if there and at each and every step, we have to analyze the performance, and if there is a need, naturally we will modify it. Now here, say we are interested in order to create the DSP system. So the first theoretical concepts will be developed, then mathematical model or the functional description will be described, and we will design a system as we have described in the previous PPT. That is, we will design the system either using the code, or we can use the toolbox or another softwares here, or the packages, and then we will get a model that is as per our requirement, and that model may be given by a mathematical equation. Say this is the difference equation here. And now in order to design the system, we have to select there, and this mathematical model may be represented in number of the realization way, having the different types of the architecture. So we have to select a we have to decide a realization structure which is suitable on the basis of the performance, and then we will decide how the coefficients will be quantized, because these coefficients are assumed that they have the infinite precision, but it is not true. So as we have discussed in the previous PPTs, that we have to quantize them, and after quantization we will get here the quantized coefficient, and then next is compute the quantized coefficients. What are the values of the quantized coefficients? If the coefficients are quantized, then naturally the processing as well as the here their pole zero location etc will be here the changed or the modified, and we have to decide how everything else will be quantized, because now the input samples will be quantized, output samples will be quantized, and the result of the multipliers and the result of the additions will be also quantized here. And what will be the quantization process? So in order to decide the quantization process, we have to select what will be the mode of the quantization, and among the mode we have to select whether we are interested for the fixed mode, float mode, double mode, or single mode, and a rounding mode, which rounding mode has to be selected. So we have to select whether we are interested for the seal, convergent, fixed, floor, or the rounding, and then we have to decide what will be the overflow mode, that is the saturation or the wrap, and then we have to select what will be the data format. And having the two type of the data, one is the fixed point number representation, and the second one is the of here the floating point number representation. And depending upon the type of the selection of the number system, whether we are interested for the fixed point or the floating point, we have to select the data format. For example, if we are using the fixed point, that is the qm.n format, then we have to use the what is the total word length, that will be described by the capital N, and what the number of the bits that will be used for the here the integer representation and the fractional representation. Similarly, in order to represent the exponent and the mantissa, we have to define what is the number of the exponent, then and this is the total word length here. Now, if we see here, then we are getting the four type of the mode: fixed, float, double, and the single. If we say fixed, and fixed means we are using the qm.n format, and the total word length will become the m plus n plus 1, because the most significant bit will be used for the here the sign bit. And floating selection has the two criteria: one either defined by the users, or the second we have to use the standard here, the IEEE 754 standard. And if we are using here the only the user defined, then we can use the float command. Otherwise we can select that single and the double for the single precision and the double precision respectively. Say, and these are the rounding modes, that is the seal, convergent, fixed, floor, and the round. And then accordingly we will write the code, and then we will test the design and the filter, and we will test the filter and compute to theoretical expectations here. And this can be done using the MATLAB coding and the CCS at the Code Composer Studio, that is the interface between the designed algorithm and the target. So as we have described in the previous slide, that suppose this is the model here which we have selected. After designing, we are satisfied with the performance of this algorithm. Now, if we see this algorithm, then we can say after the designing, we have to analyze the performance of this system. When we say performance of the system, means we have to analyze what is the energy or the power consumption that is associated with this algorithm. What is the area that is required to implement area and the silicon wafer, or the memory space that is required, and what will be the speed or the delay related to this algorithm or the execution of the system. And the fourth one is the finite word length effect. That is what will be the effect of the finite precision here. That is the finite word length effect. So on the basis of these four parameters, we have to compare the performances, and if the we are satisfied with the performance, it's okay. Otherwise, we can enhance the performance again. Now if we see the algorithm, then we can say we can enhance the algorithm by using the different types of the architecture. That is the architectural level designing, using the pipelining, parallel processing, folding, unfolding, etc. here. And the second one is that here, if we see, then we will find there are the different operations which are involved in the algorithm. That is the addition, multiplication, multiply, add, division, evaluation of the functions, and multimedia. Now, time, time, just minute. Okay. Now, say here the if we can see, then we can say that if we enhance any one operation or any one type of the processing, addition, multiplication, multiply, add, division, then we can enhance the performance of the total algorithm, right? So if we consider here the first one, suppose for the example we consider the first one, that is the addition, and we are interested in order to enhance the performance of the addition here. So we will consider here the concept of the addition of the binary number, and we know we have gone through this concept in the first year and second year. Even nowadays we are covering these topics in the high school and intermediate also. That if we you consider here the set of the inputs, then accordingly what is the output, and we can find here the mathematical we can find here the representation of the addition. And if we see, then we will find the if carry propagates fan, there is a combination of this one, that is the 0 0 1 or 0 1 0 here. And when it is again 0 or 1 0 1 and 1 0, that is if there is a combination of the 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0, and here the C is same, that is the CI is either 0 or 1, then a carry propagates here. Similarly, if both are 1 and this is either 0 or 1, then here we will find that this is the generation of the carry here. So the first carry is generated and then it is propagated, and accordingly we can write here the equation, and then we will find this is the mathematical representation of the equation. Now this is designed using the basic gates, and now we can design this one using the universal gates also. And suppose we are interested in order to enhance the performance of this system, then for the purpose of the enhancement of this purpose, this addition or this adder, we can introduce here the multiplexer. And again, to enhance the performance of this set of the adders, suppose this is the adder one that is suitable for 1 bit adder, and these are arranged in such a manner that we can add the 4 bits add simultaneously. Then if we find if we analyze, then we will find that the delay or the propagation delay related to this concept is linearly proportional to the n, that is the number of the word length here. And the t adder that are required, the total addition time will become here the n minus 1 times of the carry plus whatever is the time of the summation here, because the carry will propagate from the LSB to the MSB here. Now here it is named as the ripple carry adder, and in order to enhance the performance, we can include the inversion property. And after the inversion property, again if we analyze the here the critical path length, that is the what is the total length and how this can be minimized. This is the critical path length, and we can minimize this length also here. Now the another concept is Manchester series or the Manchester carry chain is utilized to reduce the here the critical path length or to reduce the propagation delay. And there are another method to enhance the performance of this one, like the block addition method, that is the variable block adder, or the carry look ahead adder, or the carry completion adder, or stone Kung adder. There are so many methods that can be used here, but there will be delay, that is the propagation delay will exist. Even we are trying to reduce the propagation delay, but it will exist here. So now hypothetically we assume that we are interested in order to eliminate the carry propagation. How it can be done? If there is no generation of the carry, if carry is not generated, then naturally it will not be propagated here. So reason of the generation of the carry is its additive nature, because we are using only the two bits. One is the 0 and the second one is 1. Both have the positive nature. Now, if we introduce the third, hypothetically we assume that if we add here the third bit, that is the -1, and these then we will get the three bits of the set, that is the -1, 0, and 1. And now how they will be generated? They can be generated by using a combination of the 0 1, either using the LSB minus MSB or MSB minus LSB. Then we will find that during the time of the generation of the carry, if there is possibility of the to generate the carry, then due to the -1, that will be eliminated here. So what will happen? That in addition there will be no propagation of the carry, so it will become very fast. And this type of the arrangement, if we use this type of the arrangement, that is using the negative concept, suppose we are interested in order to write the 8, then it can be uses it can be written using the one traditional method, or we can write this one as the 9 minus 1, 10 minus 2, 11 minus 3. There are so many methods. So it is named as the redundant binary sign digit representation. But the drawback of this one is that in this one we are using a combination of the bits, and due to the combination of bits, what is happening? The speed is very very fast, but at the same time the area is also larger. So in traditional adder we are getting the speed slower, but the area is also low. Here we are getting the higher speed, but at the cost of the area. So if we compare the performances of the carry repeal adder, carry completion adder, carry save adder, and the RBSD adder, then naturally the RBSD adder has the very high efficiency, but it has the drawback. So now we can here come to the another concept, that is the we can consider here the combination of the this traditional method and the combination of this RBSD, and this is known as the hybridization. And after hybridization, we can also optimize the algorithm and we can compare the performances here. So this is at the level of the number system. Now again, we are going to describe some concepts at the level of the architecture. So in order to describe the enhancement of the algorithm at the level of the architecture, the algorithm is described. Hello? Any problem? Hello? So at the level of the architectural level, whether I'm audible, Dr. Sumanji? Hello? Any audience respond, please?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yo, thank you. Here, if we are interested in order to enhance the performance of the designed algorithm at the architecture level, then that algorithm will be described with the help of the DFG, data flow graph, that is used for one iteration. And in that DFG, we can use the pipelining, parallel processing, timing, retiming, folding, unfolding in order to enhance the performance. I'm just describing the concept of this one. Here, for example, here time is over. Huh? Okay, just concluding. So I have to conclude it, but here we can utilize these concepts to enhance the algorithm at the architectural level here. Now, as we have described in this one, that if we use the different level of the pipelining and parallel processing, then speed will be very high. And another one is that is the here we can use the different efforts towards the developing algorithm for efficient implementation of the FIR filter on application ASIC and the FPGA. And here the convolution is the core function. So here the convolution can be enhanced by using the MCM algorithm, that is the multiple constant multiplication approach. And the next one is the numerical transformation techniques and common sub expression elimination method. And further elimination in the redundancy can can be modified using the iteration meshed this one, or we can also use here a combination of the MCM and MITM. So these are the some concepts which we have described how we can enhance the performance. So this, and why we are discussing this one, naturally in order to modify the behavior of the cycle, that is what we perceive from the society. It has we try to store it so that we can retrieve it at the time of the requirement, and when we are in position to retrieve it at the time of the requirement, it becomes the idea. And if we are able to perform something on the basis of this idea, then it becomes the concept. And whatever is the response, that is tested, evaluated, and if it is up to the mark, it's okay. Otherwise, there is a need of the reinforcement, and it can be disseminated to the society, or we can learn it. That is the teaching learning process using the 4 ways. One is the monologue, dialogue, action, and the self study, having the different type of the processing here, and that is transferring the knowledge from, say, teacher center to the student center, or from the teachers to the learner here. Basically, in this teaching learning process, a teacher would have to learn how the learners learn, and learners would have to teach themselves. And when we how what is the percentage of the learning? Due to the lecture, it is 5%, reading 10%, audio visual 20, demonstration 30, and the group discussion 50, and practice by doing 75, teaching others is 90%. So these are the motives. That's why we are moving towards the here the teaching learning process. And if we are very serious to the teaching learning process, naturally by doing the research, there will be some invention or innovative ideas, and we can test and apply them, and then we can patent the file, and virtually you can make your own company. And then making the business plan, you can send the proposal to the different organization. After getting this proposal and approval, you can start your independent company, and you can enjoy the company, and you can serve the society. So this is about the concepts. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much. Thanks to the organizer. Yes, Dr. Subhanji.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Professor Krishna, sir, for your nice presentation and for enlightening the students about the process of formulating any algorithm and what are the importance of that. And in this words, I again thank you, Professor Krishna, sir, for your nice presentation. Dear participants, if you have any question, you can ask directly. We will just we'll have 1 minute for the question answer session, or else we'll continue for the continue to the next session. So I will wait for 30 seconds. If you have any questions, you can write in the chat box, or you can ask directly by unmuting yourself. I think so. There is no questions. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sumanji. So may I leave the meeting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can leave the meeting.
Okay. Thank you very much.